watched a handful of things. So um, on Hulu, that movie Poor Things was on there, which is like an Oscar
Heard about
nominated
that.
movie.
Yeah.
And so, for anyone who hasn't watched it, basically the premise is like there's this Dr. Frankenstein type of guy who resurrects this dead girl, played by Emma Stone. And there's a little more to it than that, but I don't want to spoil it. But in the beginning of the movie, she's very childlike, and as the movie goes along, like she gets like smarter and smarter and smarter. And the movie is kind of like, you know, about feminism ultimately. But and but my thing is, I don't know about you. I don't consider myself prudish, but whenever I see like a movie, an adult that has like a lot of like gratuitous nudity and sex in it, it kind of makes me just feel sorry for the actress. Now, apparently, it
Yeah.
worked. It worked out for Emma Stone because she just won the Oscar for Best Actress. So, like, she probably like doesn't care. But like, I don't know. There was just like she has like so many sex scenes in this movie, and like I would argue that almost all of them are gratuitous and could just be like hinted at rather than explicitly shown, you know. So like I don't know. For me, the movie, and it's got some interesting like set design stuff too. Um, Ultimately, I think the movie is just okay. Like I can't give it like a real hearty recommendation, but like it's fine. It's fine.
So like
Um,
she starts out as a kid.
Basically, yes. When she starts, she's got the brain basically of a toddler.
Hmm.
It's very strange.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost. I don't want to give away too much, and as to like why that is, but like it's definitely a quirky movie. It's got some kind of weird stuff in it, but
Yeah.
um, let's
You watch
see.
Game of Thrones, right?
Yes.
So it kind of like feels like that Arya Stark sex scene. Like she has that scene with
Oh,
Gendry
right.
towards the end, and that was like kind of weird to watch, considering that we've seen her like grow up all those years. Like,
Yeah, agreed. Because it's like I'm sure when she did that scene, she was probably an adult. But since you watch the show from the time when she was just a kid, it feels very weird.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I agree.
Mhm.
Um, so I finished that show, Death and Other Details, that I've been talking about.
Mm.
It's like a murder mystery that takes place on a big like yacht or like cruise ship, basically.
Right.
Um, I gotta say, I was a little let down by the ending, just because I think it got like a little bit unbelievable. Like it, some of the things that happened, like it got to the point where I'm like, I don't know if I'm really buying this. It kind of takes some turns that I wasn't into, that I thought
Mm.
went a little extreme. Like overall, it's still a fine show, but I'd be lying if I said I wasn't let down by the ending a little bit.
Okay.
What else? Oh, this is a weird one. So I was also just like one day, like I didn't have anything to watch, and I was like kind of going around Hulu, and I noticed that The Sound of Music was on there, and
Oh, okay.
The Sound of Music is one of those movies that I know, like when I was like very young in school, like they had us watch it, but I
Mm.
really didn't remember it at all. And it just seems like one of those movies that you're supposed to watch, you know? So it's
Yeah.
like, and I know it's considered like a classic. So like, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna watch The Sound of Music, and I did, and like, it's fine. Like, I maybe it's just because musicals, I don't know, aren't my biggest like genre. It's still like I don't know, a little bit of a weird genre to me, but like
Mhm.
I don't know. It's like it's totally watchable. Like some of the songs are catchy, but like, have you ever watched it?
No, I never seen it.
It's weird because like I mean, the turn at the
I heard
end.
they're
Oh, go
I
ahead.
heard they're running from the Nazis, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So like the it centers around this Von Trapp family, and like the lead guy is played by Christopher Plummer, but it takes place in Austria, and he's like a general in the Austrian army,
Mhm.
and or maybe it's like the Navy. I don't know, but he's like a top general or something. And
Mhm.
basically, the Nazis are starting to take over Germany, and in turn, they're going to like take over Austria, and Austria is going to join the Nazis. And so, like, yeah, he decides like, oh, I don't like the Nazis. I don't want to become a not a general in the Nazi army. So yeah, at the end of the movie, they end up fleeing, which I don't know. It's weird because up until then, the movie it's just like this kind of comedy about this woman trying to like teach these kids and connect with these kids. But
Okay. Mary Poppins ish.
kind of, I gotta say though, well, maybe I shouldn't say that. I've never actually seen Mary Poppins. That's another musical that I'm like, I should
I
probably
have seen
watch at
that
some point. Yeah,
one.
it's weird. Um, oh, and then I've also been watching. I believe this is on Paramount Plus. I've been watching Halo season 2,
Mhm.
based on the video game series. And I'm actually, because I remember the first season I watched, and I'm like, some of the action scenes are pretty janky, but like I enjoyed the story well enough. And from what I understand, like fans of I've never played the Halo games, but from what I understand, like fans of the Halo games like really hated season 1 because they're like, this doesn't
Yeah,
really resemble Halo. And with
yeah.
Halo season 2, I'm feeling the same way where like some of the action scenes are a little uh they just seem very obvious CG where it almost looks like you're watching a live action cartoon at points.
Season two
Um
still?
yeah.
Mhm.
But I mean it's hit and miss. Like some of the action scenes aren't bad. Some of them look like that though and are a little more janky. But overall, like I enjoyed the story enough. But I am curious to see how like the Halo fans will react to this season. Like, will they like it more than season 1? Or will they still hate it? Like, I don't, because again, I don't know. I'm unfamiliar with the story, so I don't know if this season is any more in line with the games or not.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I played the games, but I'm not too critical. I haven't seen the show, so I don't know much about it. But I watched Moist Critical, and he was not too pleased with the first season. So I do want to hear his thoughts on the second one.
And then this isn't something that I watched, but I just saw a news article today. Well, right now it's not like concretely um, stated by Disney. There's just like a lot of like speculation that they might be canceling plans for an Eternals 2 movie for Marvel.
I'm
And
okay with that.
I am too. Like, I didn't dislike Eternals like a lot of people did. Like, I think it's probably a better movie than a lot of people think it is. But
Mhm.
my thing is, if they do cancel, which again I'm fine with, I do hope they at least kind of filter those characters into other movies. Like, I think it would be weird if
Yeah,
we just never saw those characters again.
he's retired forever.
Right, right, right. So hopefully they do something interesting with them. But yeah, it doesn't really surprise me if this is true and they cancel.
But if they do like filter them in, they still have to explain like that celestial showing up to Earth and taking one away. Like that's a kind of a big plot hole. Like then if they don't cover that,
That is true. That's a big like dangling thread, right?
yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
you know, I don't know if they'll do this, but they are going to do the Fantastic Four movie. You got to figure eventually that means they're going to work in Galactus, who I believe is like
hmm
another celestial or whatever. So like
type, yeah.
I could see them finally tying up that like loose ends
Okay,
with like
I
Galactus.
can
I
see
mean,
that.
who knows if they'll do that, but it seems like a natural kind of fit uh,
Hmm
to do that.
I can see that. Yeah.